Indian Chief, listed for $51,500 in Henderson, Nevada, is an extraordinary, fully restored example of one of America's most iconic pre-war era motorcycles. With only 500 miles on the chassis and just 200 miles on a brand new motor, this Chief stands as a premium, museum-quality restoration built using high-grade Kiwi Indian components. For collectors and serious enthusiasts, this is the kind of machine that rarely comes to market in such complete, correct, and mechanically flawless condition. The 1948 Chief represents the final years of the original Indian motorcycle company before its closure in the early 1950s. Its elegant lines, sweeping fenders, classic tank-mounted gauges, and unmistakable V-twin engine made it a cultural symbol of American motorcycling. This specific example embodies everything that made the Indian Chief legendary: craftsmanship, character, and engineering far ahead of its time. At the heart of this motorcycle is the 74 cubic inch, 42-degree V-twin, an air-cooled, side-valve power plant known for its smooth torque delivery and deep, rhythmic exhaust note. Producing 38 horsepower and paired with a 3-speed tank-shift transmission, the Chief delivers an authentic 1940s riding experience. The foot-operated clutch and hand-shift setup are classic Indian trademarks, an iconic control layout that immerses the rider in the traditions of early American motorcycling. The restoration specifications provided by the seller demonstrate an impressive level of detail. Primary drive, chain-driven. Frame, lugged tubular steel. Front suspension, girder fork. Rear suspension, plunger style. Electrical system, 6-volt battery/coil. Wheels/tires, 5.00 by 16 front and rear. Brakes, drum brakes front and rear. Wheelbase, 62 inches. Weight, 575 pounds. Top speed, approximately 85 miles per hour. These specs reflect the original design, engineering, and riding dynamics of the 1948 Chief, keeping the historic soul intact while benefiting from modern quality parts in critical areas. The restoration was performed using Kiwi Indian parts, one of the world's most trusted suppliers for Indian Chief components. Their reputation for authenticity, precision, and durability places them at the top of the industry for Indian restorations. The seller notes the restoration was completed 6 years ago, but with so few miles since then, the bike remains in near pristine condition, both mechanically and cosmetically. The motorcycle's blue-gray exterior, beautifully shown in your photo, highlights the Chief's flowing design. The massive skirted fenders, teardrop gas tank, and vintage-style solo saddle create a look that is unmistakably Indian. The chrome work, polished components, and restored engine cases all reflect a high-end rebuild where no corners were cut. The bike exudes quality from every angle. This is not a modified chopper, bobber, or partial restoration. It is a fully restored, historically faithful, mechanically refreshed Chief that retains its original engineering identity. The seller emphasizes that everything works, a statement rarely made with confidence when discussing motorcycles from the 1940s. The motorcycle features a clean title in hand, ensuring a smooth ownership transfer, critical for high-value vintage machines. The seller also states clearly, "No trades and no lowballers," which indicates the bike's value is firm and reflects both the restoration cost and historical significance. Located in Henderson, Nevada, this Chief sits in a dry climate ideal for long-term preservation. Vintage motorcycles stored in desert regions generally benefit from minimal rust, corrosion, and moisture-related aging, further supporting the exceptional condition of this particular bike. Collectors value 1948 Chiefs not only for their beauty and engineering, but also for their historical context. This model year sits at the end of an era, the last of the traditional Indian Chiefs before the company ceased operations in 1953. Owning one is akin to owning an original piece of American mechanical art, a machine that embodies the craftsmanship and ingenuity of post-war America. With a brand new motor, minimal break-in miles, premium restoration quality, and an authentic appearance that looks like it rolled off a 1940s showroom floor, this Chief is positioned as a top-tier collector's motorcycle. Very few Indian Chiefs reach this level of completeness, reliability, and historical fidelity. The 1948 Indian Chief, $51,500, Henderson, Nevada. Fully restored. New motor. A museum-grade American legend ready for its next discerning owner. 2007 Big Bear Chopper's Athena, listed for $20,000 in Costa Mesa, California, is a true factory-built custom, not a kit bike, handcrafted by Big Bear's production team and powered by a strong S&S 100 smooth motor. With only 3,000 miles, 2 owners, and a long list of premium components, this Athena stands as one of the most striking high-end American choppers of the 2000s. It's bold, powerful, and unmistakably a Big Bear original. Big Bear Choppers was known for building some of the most refined, professionally engineered custom motorcycles in the world, combining showbike styling with real-world reliability. The Athena model is one of their signature long choppers, defined by its sweeping lines, extended rake, massive rear tire, and premium drivetrain. This is a bike designed to turn heads on every street, at every event, in every parking lot. At the core of this build is the SNS 100 smooth engine, one of the most respected big-inch V-twin power plants ever produced. Known for its dependability, smoothness, and torque-heavy performance, this motor delivers the classic American chopper rumble with modern refinement. It's paired with a high-velocity stack, allowing for improved airflow and a more aggressive throttle response. When the SNS 100 breathes through an open-velocity intake, the bike produces a crisp, sharp sound that matches its performance-oriented character. The bike is backed by a Baker 6-speed right-hand drive transmission, an elite-level gearbox known for strength, precision, and durability. Baker transmissions are regarded as the gold standard in the custom V-twin world, and the 6-speed offers strong acceleration in lower gears with smooth cruising ability in higher gears. The right-side drive configuration also allows for improved balance and a cleaner custom appearance, especially crucial on wide-tire choppers. Speaking of tires, the Athena carries a massive 300mm rear tire, giving the bike its aggressive stance and unmistakable chopper silhouette. The front end rolls on a 21-inch wheel, completing the long, stretched geometry that defines Big Bear's iconic style. This combination gives the bike a presence that is both muscular and elegant, long, low, and perfectly proportioned. The motorcycle features custom pipes, contributing not only to performance but also to the bike's visual identity. Custom exhaust work is a hallmark of premium factory choppers, and the ones on this Athena complement the frame lines while delivering a deep, authoritative tone that commands attention. Both the front and rear fenders are custom and sculpted to match the bike's long, flowing aesthetic. The fenders feature gold pinstripe flame artwork, adding a layer of craftsmanship and detail that elevates the bike beyond standard production customs. The frame and tank lines carry the deep red exterior paint, a color that enhances the bike's bold, high-end look. Under sunlight, the paint and gold striping create a stunning contrast, a true showpiece visual. Power is transferred through a 4-inch open belt drive, one of the signature features of high-end custom bikes. An open belt adds dramatic visual appeal while delivering strong, efficient torque transfer from the engine to the transmission. The wide belt setup also contributes to the bike's aggressive stance and clean, mechanical display. With only 3,000 miles, the bike has lived a comfortable life, enough mileage to prove reliability, but low enough to show minimal wear. Two-owner history further suggests that the motorcycle has been appreciated, maintained, and stored properly over the years. The seller emphasizes, serious buyers only. This is not an entry-level motorcycle. It's a premium factory custom with a strong aftermarket following and long-term investment value. Big Bear Choppers no longer produces bikes at this scale and craftsmanship level, making clean low-mileage examples highly desirable among collectors and custom motorcycle enthusiasts. Located in Costa Mesa, California, this Athena sits in a region known for its strong custom motorcycle culture, year-round riding weather, and thriving bike show scene. Whether cruising along Pacific Coast Highway or displaying at local meets and events, this chopper is guaranteed to draw attention. At $20,000, the asking price is justified by the factory build quality, SNS 100 engine, Baker transmission, massive 300 rear tire, custom paint, and low mileage. As Big Bear choppers become more collectible, well-preserved models like the Athena are increasingly hard to find. The 2007 Big Bear Choppers Athena, $20,000, Costa Mesa, California. Factory built. SNS powered. A long, elegant, and powerful American chopper with true show bike presence. Yamaha custom chopper, listed for $18,000 in Fresno, California, is a bold, handcrafted, one-off motorcycle built with the unmistakable style and attitude that define the modern American chopper scene. With only 300 miles, a single owner, and a long-stretch red hot rod aesthetic, this bike blends artistry, performance, and craftsmanship into a machine built to be seen, heard, and admired. Whether you're looking for a showpiece, a weekend cruiser, or a high-impact addition to a collection, this chopper delivers presence and personality in every detail. Custom choppers built around 2010 are known for their high-end fabrication, big-inch engines, and long-range geometry, and this bike fits that profile perfectly. These machines are not mass-produced. They are handcrafted projects assembled with intention, skill, and premium components. Compared to older 1970s choppers that rely on vintage Harley platforms, 2010-era customs often offer better reliability, stronger engineering, and more refined ergonomics while still maintaining the classic chopper look. This particular motorcycle is described simply as a custom motorcycle made around 2010, which almost certainly indicates that it was a full custom fabrication based on aftermarket frames and high-performance V-twin parts rather than a modified factory Harley. These builds often feature SNS, RevTech, Ultima, or Merch engines paired with custom frames, stretch backbones, oversized front wheels, and long rake front ends for an unmistakable silhouette. Although the listing does not include the exact engine specification, the visual clues suggest a big-inch V-twin typical of high-end custom builds during that era, usually in the 100 to 127 cubic inch range. These motors deliver strong torque, low-end punch, and a deeply resonant exhaust note that defines the chopper sound. The transmission is a manual setup consistent with nearly all custom V-twin builds, and is likely paired with a heavy-duty primary drive, open belt, or polished housing depending on the builder's style. The exterior features a deep red finish, a bold and timeless choice that stands out against polished metal and chrome accents. Red is a classic custom color because it enhances the bike's visual impact under sunlight, emphasizing the curves of the tank, the length of the frame, and the angles of the front end. Many chopper builders choose high metal flake finishes or multi-layer candy paint, which may very well be the case here based on the strong presence of the bike in photos. With only 300 miles, the motorcycle has barely been ridden since its build. Many custom owners treat these bikes as display pieces, bringing them out on sunny weekends or simply keeping them as part of a private collection. Low mileage on a custom build is typical and often sought after because it means less wear on the motor, drivetrain, tires, wiring, and frame. This chopper carries the unmistakable traits of modern custom design. Long front forks for the stretched chopper profile. Slim tank shaping for a lean silhouette. Low seat height with a high neck and long backbone. Aggressive rake for dramatic stance. Clean, uncluttered lines with minimal bodywork. Heavy visual emphasis on engine and frame geometry. These builds rely heavily on craftsmanship and proportion, the way the rake, wheel size, stance, and frame angles come together. A well-executed chopper, like this one, balances dramatic visual impact with stable riding characteristics. The seller notes that the bike is being sold because they don't have time to ride it, which is one of the most common reasons custom choppers come onto the market. These bikes often live in garages, covered, well-kept, and ridden only on special occasions. The owner also mentions $18,000 or best offer, we do trade. This indicates flexibility and suggests the seller values a straightforward, no-nonsense transaction. Located in Fresno, California, this chopper sits in a region with wide roads, warm seasons, and a strong cruiser and chopper culture. Whether cruising the valley, heading toward the coast, or displaying at local meets, this motorcycle will command instant attention. At $18,000, the price reflects a show-quality custom build with extremely low miles, clean ownership, and a full-size chopper frame and geometry. Compared to many custom builds that sell for far more, this bike offers a strong value for riders who want a dramatic machine without commissioning a multi-year custom build from scratch. The 2010 Hot Custom Chopper, $18,000, Fresno, California. Bold, handcrafted, low-mileage custom power. A true modern chopper built for riders who want something unforgettable. Triumph Bonneville T120, listed for $9,999 in Temecula, California, is a beautifully restored example of one of the most iconic British motorcycles ever built. With only 700 miles since its full mechanical restoration and just 2 previous owners, this Bonneville represents the height of classic British engineering, style, and character. The T120R variant, as offered here, is one of the most desirable Bonneville configurations, featuring a 4-speed transmission and the classic right-hand shift, a hallmark of British motorcycles before the mid-1970s. For collectors and purists, right-side shifting is not a flaw. It's part of the charm, an authentic riding experience that immerses you in the traditions of vintage British motorcycling. The Bonneville name has long been associated with lightweight, responsive handling, and a punchy parallel twin engine. In 1970, the T120 still represented Triumph's flagship performance machine, famous for its quick throttle, agile road manners, and unmistakable exhaust note. This example carries that spirit forward with a fully restored engine, rebuilt from the inside out. The seller notes the motor is a full restoration, meaning everything from internals to seals to tuning has been thoroughly refreshed. Cosmetically, the bike wears a bright red exterior, a classic Triumph color that enhances the bike's elegant tank lines, chrome trim, and polished alloy engine components. The Bonneville's proportions, slim tank, dual high pipes, spoked wheels, and clean frame geometry remain one of the most timeless designs ever seen in motorcycling. Few bikes balance vintage attitude and visual simplicity as perfectly as a 1970 Bonneville. Despite its restored condition, the seller points out that the bike still needs air cleaners and a few small details to be fully complete. These are minor finishing touches rather than major mechanical issues, making this Triumph an excellent choice for someone who wants a nearly finished show-quality machine without needing to tear it apart or undertake a full restoration. For many enthusiasts, completing the last 5% of a restoration is the most enjoyable part, allowing for personal preference while preserving the integrity of the rebuild. With only 700 miles since the restoration, the motorcycle has been properly broken in but not overused. This is the ideal mileage for a restored classic, enough to confirm mechanical reliability, but low enough that the bike still feels fresh, tight, and well-sorted. The parallel twins' characteristic torque and vibration give the Bonneville a unique riding personality, lively, direct, and engaging in a way modern bikes rarely replicate. The manual transmission, paired with the right-hand shift pattern, gives riders a direct mechanical connection to the machine. Every shift is deliberate, every throttle blip meaningful. It's the kind of bike that rewards skill and rhythm, not electronics or rider aids. For enthusiasts who value authentic vintage riding, the T120 is one of the most rewarding motorcycles to pilot. The seller notes that they are open to trades, including potential vehicle trade-ins. This indicates flexibility and suggests the motorcycle is being sold by someone familiar with collectible vehicles, possibly an enthusiast with multiple projects. The willingness to consider offers often reflects confidence in the bike's condition and value. Located in Temecula, California, this Bonneville resides in a region known for scenic backroads and warm weather, ideal terrain for a vintage British twin. Rolling hills, vineyard roads, and wide-open country stretches make this area one of the best spots to enjoy a classic motorcycle in its natural element. At $9,999, the price sits comfortably within the market value for a restored 1970 Bonneville, especially one with documented work and extremely low post-restoration mileage. As prices for classic British motorcycles continue to rise, clean T120 examples, especially correct, restored ones, remain highly sought after. The combination of authenticity, mechanical freshness, and minimal ownership history makes this one stand out. For collectors, this Triumph is an opportunity to own one of the most influential motorcycles of the 20th century. For riders, it offers an unforgettable experience, the unmistakable heartbeat of a British twin, the raw feel of a mechanical era long past, and the visual charm of a genuine classic. The 1970 Triumph Bonneville T120, $9,999, Temecula, California. Fully restored. Right-hand shift. A legendary British twin ready for its next proud owner. 74 Honda CB360, listed for $3,200 in Los Angeles, California, is a classic twin-cylinder machine that captures everything riders love about vintage Japanese motorcycles: simplicity, reliability, and timeless style. With just over 16,328 miles and a mostly original setup, this CB360 represents one of Honda's most charming and approachable bikes from the 1970s, perfect for new riders, collectors, or anyone wanting a dependable old-school companion. The CB360 was designed as a lightweight, versatile motorcycle that could handle daily commuting, weekend rides, and spirited backroad cruising. Today, it's considered one of Honda's best-balanced small-displacement twins, smooth, efficient, and surprisingly capable for a 360 cubic centimeters engine. This example has clearly been cared for, and the seller's detailed description highlights the thoughtful maintenance and preserved originality that make this bike a standout. With its black exterior, classic tank lines, chrome fenders, and iconic twin-cylinder layout, the bike looks every bit the part of a 1970s Honda. The styling is clean and minimal, with a low seat height and upright riding position that make it comfortable and welcoming for a wide range of riders. Its size and proportions embody Honda's philosophy of the era: motorcycles that were easy to ride, easy to service, and easy to love. The seller describes the CB360 as beautiful and emphasizes that it is a great running vintage Honda, which is crucial for a 50-year-old motorcycle. According to the listing, the bike starts up and runs well, demonstrating that the ignition, carburation, and internal mechanics are in good working order. Smooth shifting and strong mid-range power are also highlighted, both important traits of the CB360's parallel twin engine, known for being lively without being intimidating. Maintenance-wise, this bike appears ready for the road. The seller recently performed basic service, including new spark plugs and carburetor cleaning, two of the most important items for keeping vintage Hondas running smoothly. Proper carb work is essential on these older twins, and knowing it has been handled recently adds confidence for the next owner. The bike comes with a clean title in hand, which is always a plus in the California market, where paperwork can be complicated and registration histories sometimes unclear. A clean, ready-to-transfer title means an easy purchase process and a faster path to getting the bike legally on the road. Described as mostly original, this CB360 still carries much of its factory look and character, a major value point among collectors. Many surviving CB360s have been heavily modified into cafe racers or scramblers, making original or near-original examples increasingly difficult to find. The fact that this one retains its classic appearance, including chrome trim, original-style seat, stock exhaust layout, and OEM-style lighting, gives it strong appeal for purists who appreciate authenticity. The seller acknowledges some minor cosmetic wear which is expected and acceptable for a motorcycle approaching its 50th birthday. Patina on a bike like this often adds charm, reflecting real history without compromising performance. The description suggests the cosmetic wear is minimal and appropriate for its age, not indicative of neglect. This bike is ideal for several types of buyers. For riders looking for a daily commuter, the CB360 offers lightweight, easy handling, excellent fuel economy, and straightforward maintenance. For enthusiasts wanting a light restoration project, the bike's originality provides an excellent foundation for a period-correct refresh. And for collectors, the rising demand for vintage small-displacement Hondas makes this CB360 a smart entry point into the classic Japanese motorcycle market. Another added plus is the seller's willingness to provide a cold start video, allowing potential buyers to verify starting ease, idle stability, and engine sound, crucial details when evaluating a vintage motorcycle remotely. The seller is also open to showing the bike in person to serious buyers, indicating confidence in its condition and performance. Located in Los Angeles, California, this CB360 sits in one of the best environments for classic motorcycle ownership. Whether cruising through canyon roads, navigating city streets, or joining local bike meets, the CB360 is well suited for the Southern California lifestyle. The light chassis, nimble handling, and compact motor make it easy to ride in traffic while still providing plenty of fun on open stretches. At $3,200, this motorcycle represents excellent value. Clean, original, well-running CB360s are becoming harder to find, and prices have been steadily increasing as vintage Honda twins gain appreciation among riders and collectors. This example strikes an ideal balance of affordability, reliability, originality, and classic styling. The 1974 Honda CB360, $3,200, Los Angeles, California. Smooth, reliable, classic. A beautifully preserved vintage twin ready for its next rider. 82 Honda CB750, listed for $4,000 in Silverado, California, is a purpose-built cafe racer with modern suspension upgrades, custom controls, and the unmistakable character that defines the legendary CB platform. With unknown true mileage, a strong-running DOHC inline-4, and a clean California registration good until May 2026, this bike blends old-school Japanese reliability with contemporary cafe styling and high-quality performance components. The Honda CB750 needs no introduction. Widely considered the motorcycle that changed the world, the CB series set the global standard for smooth, powerful inline-4 engines and unbeatable everyday reliability. Even decades later, the CB750 remains a favorite among customizers because of its overbuilt engine, predictable handling, and iconic mechanical sound. The seller sums it up perfectly. Countless old bike guys have come up to me to tell me these things go forever. This particular build takes the 1982 CB750 and transforms it into a stripped-down cafe racer, prioritizing agility, minimalism, and aggressive styling. It carries a black exterior, a color that suits the cafe racer ethos, simple, purposeful, and timeless. Several high-quality upgrades elevate this build far above typical budget cafe conversions. Öhlins rear suspension, a premium upgrade rarely seen on CB750 builds. Öhlins shocks dramatically improve rear-end stability, cornering confidence, and overall ride quality. This single addition alone sets the bike apart from most 1980s cafe racers. Racetech rebuilt forks. Up front, the forks have been professionally rebuilt and tuned with Racetech components. This gives modern damping behavior, reducing dive under braking, and improving handling through twisty roads. Clip-on handlebars. True cafe racer ergonomics, low, lean forward, and aggressive. Clip-ons sharpen the bike's handling, but retain that classic racer silhouette. Billet aluminum rear sets. Rear sets reposition the riding posture into a tucked, performance-oriented stance, ideal for spirited riding. The billet construction ensures precision, durability, and a modern finish. These upgrades collectively transform the old Honda into a far more agile and responsive machine than the stock CB750 could ever be. Suspension and control changes are at the heart of any real cafe racer build, and this bike checks every box. Mechanically, the seller describes the bike as a trooper, reinforcing that the engine runs strong despite its unknown mileage. The CB750's DOHC inline-4 is well known for longevity, with many examples surpassing 100,000 miles with routine care. The owner has done several key maintenance items during the past year. New rear brake pads, new clutch friction plates, new clutch cable, rebuilt rear brake caliper and master cylinder, new oil pan gasket, fresh oil and filter changes. For a 42-year-old motorcycle, this level of recent maintenance is extremely valuable, ensuring the bike is road-ready and mechanically trustworthy. The seller also lists several quirks, typical for a custom cafe racer but important for prospective buyers. Cons. No odometer, clarified. The bike has a tachometer, not an odometer. Speedometer not connected. Does not hold idle until fully warmed up, very common on older carbureted Hondas. Minor slow oil leak from the clutch cover, a known issue with paper gaskets from this era. Despite these quirks, the bike is described as having tons of character, attracting attention everywhere it goes, and sounding exceptional. The seller even offers an exhaust video upon request, which is a strong sign of honesty and transparency. The motorcycle's posture looks compact in photos because the seller is 6 feet 6 inches and 200 pounds, not because the bike is unusually small. This clarification is helpful for riders concerned about ergonomics or overall presence. The listing emphasizes NO trades, and the price is $4,000 OBO, signaling a willingness to negotiate within reason, but not interested in item-for-item exchanges. Located in Silverado, California, this CB750 sits in a region known for beautiful canyon roads, sweeping mountain curves, and a thriving custom motorcycle culture. With its upgraded suspension, cafe stance, and strong engine, this Honda is perfectly suited for SoCal backroads or weekend coffee runs. At $4,000, this cafe racer offers excellent value considering the Öhlins shocks, Racetech forks, billet rear sets, and the CB750's legendary reputation for long-term durability. It's the kind of bike that appeals to riders who want a machine with soul, something raw, mechanical, and unmistakably vintage, yet updated for modern handling. The 1982 Honda CB750 Cafe Racer, $4,000, Silverado, California. Upgraded suspension. Classic inline-4 power. True cafe attitude. A rough-edged, attention-grabbing custom that's built to be ridden. 6 Ducati Monza, listed for $9,000 in Norco, California, is a beautifully restored Italian single-cylinder classic with deep family history and timeless vintage character. With only 4,150 miles, 2 owners, and a restoration completed in 2020, this Monza represents one of Ducati's most elegant superbike era machines, a lightweight, simple, and beautifully engineered motorcycle from the 1960s. The Ducati Monza belongs to the iconic family of Ducati single-cylinder motorcycles that shaped the brand's reputation long before the era of V-twins and superbikes. Known for their narrow design, jewel-like engines, and exceptional handling, these singles are now prized for their mechanical purity and unmistakable Italian charm. The 250 cubic centimeters and 350 cubic centimeters Monza models were built for stylish, everyday riding, simple, efficient, and tuned with the precision that Ducati was already becoming famous for. This particular 1966 example has been in the same family since 1973, giving it nearly 50 years of documented personal ownership. Long-term ownership like this is rare for any vintage motorcycle, especially an Italian classic. It suggests that the bike was cared for, preserved, and maintained across generations, and the restoration in 2020 further reflects that commitment. The restoration appears comprehensive. The bike's silver exterior shines with clean, elegant lines that highlight Ducati's distinctive tank shape, chrome accents, and narrow frame design. The polished metal surfaces, restored side covers, and classic bench seat give the bike a period-correct look that remains true to its original styling. Ducati singles from this era were known for their minimalist beauty, and this Monza captures that aesthetic perfectly. Mechanically, the seller notes that the bike runs but needs fine-tuning. This is common for vintage Italian singles, especially those that have undergone restoration and may require carburetor adjustment, ignition timing optimization, or minor braking corrections. The engine's basic condition is good enough to run. The fine-tuning will simply bring it to full performance and smooth operation. For many Ducati enthusiasts, this kind of gentle mechanical dialing in is part of the ownership experience. The Monza is powered by a single-cylinder engine with Ducati's classic overhead cam architecture. These motors are renowned for their simplicity, reliability, and crisp throttle response. With 4,150 original miles, the engine has extremely low usage for its age. Ducati singles often survive for decades when well maintained, and this one's mileage indicates it has lived a very gentle life. The motorcycle features a manual transmission, typical of the era, with Ducati's precise but lightweight shifting character. Paired with a single-cylinder engine, the transmission gives the Monza a lively and engaging riding feel, smooth at lower speeds, energetic when opened up, and full of mechanical personality. Riders often praise these bikes for feeling connected to the road in a way modern motorcycles cannot replicate. The chassis design, narrow, lightweight, and elegantly balanced, contributes to the Monza's excellent riding dynamics. Ducati singles from the 1960s were beloved for their agility and stability, making them perfect for twisty backroads, short urban rides, and vintage track events. The combination of low weight and simple engineering results in a motorcycle that feels far more modern than its age suggests. Visually, the bike looks stunning in silver. The chrome fenders, polished engine cases, spoked wheels, and retro-style headlight contribute to a timeless and unmistakably European look. The Monza carries the aesthetic that made Italian motorcycles stand out in the 1960s, light, stylish, and mechanically elegant. Being restored in 2020, the bike benefits from modern quality paint, refreshed components, and likely updated seals, bearings, and cables. The restoration appears to have aimed for clean originality rather than radical customization, making it ideal for collectors who value period-correct machines. Located in Norco, California, the bike is situated in an area where open roads, mild weather, and motorcycle culture thrive. Ducati singles are perfect for California's backroads and scenic routes, light enough for relaxed cruising, yet spirited enough to enjoy on winding roads. At $9,000, this Ducati Monza is well priced for a restored Italian classic with family-owned provenance, low miles, and fresh mechanical work. Vintage Ducatis continue to rise in value, especially restored singles from the 1960s. Collectors and enthusiasts recognize the rarity, charm, and engineering beauty of these machines, and examples like this, restored, running, and well-preserved, are becoming increasingly hard to find. The 1966 Ducati Monza, $9,000, Norco, California. Restored. Family-owned since 1973. A beautiful, classic Italian single ready for its next curator. 1972 Norton Commando Combat, listed for $8,500 in Santa Barbara, California, is an exceptional example of Britain's original superbike, a fully rebuilt, numbers-matching machine with extensive upgrades, fresh mechanical work, and the unmistakable character that made the Commando an icon of the 1970s. With only 486 miles showing on the rebuilt tachometer, a recent mechanical refresh, and premium components throughout, this combat model Commando stands as one of the strongest British classic offerings on market. The combat specification represents the high-performance version of the Commando 750, tuned from the factory for more aggressive acceleration and sharper power delivery. These models quickly became legends, combining Norton's iconic styling with improved horsepower and a visceral riding feel that set them apart from Triumphs and BSAs of the same era. This particular motorcycle was rebuilt down to the frame by a British bike mechanic several years ago. According to the seller, the engine was properly fitted with superblend bearings, an essential upgrade that resolves the factory weak point in high-compression combat motors. This alone significantly increases engine longevity and reliability. Cosmetically, the bike is stunning. The candy blue flake paint paired with a steel-fueled tank gives the machine a deep, shimmering look under sunlight, bold and period-correct without being overdone. The lines of the Commando remain some of the most recognizable in classic motorcycling, and this example preserves that shape beautifully. Mechanically, the seller went through the bike thoroughly throughout 2021 to 2022, bringing the machine to a reliable running condition. The bike was tuned to the point where it would start in just a few kicks, idle properly, ride straight, shift cleanly through all gears, and come to a controlled stop. Critical electrical components, headlight, taillight, brake light, horn, and kill switch, all function correctly. Both the tachometer and speedometer were professionally rebuilt shortly before the seller's ownership. Although showing 486 miles, the total mileage is unknown. However, the matching frame and engine numbers confirm authenticity and add significant value to this Commando. The seller is transparent in noting that the bike has been sitting covered for a couple of years, meaning it will require recommissioning, typical for any classic British motorcycle left unridden. For most Norton enthusiasts, this is routine: fresh fuel, carb cleaning, possible ignition check, and standard lubrication. What truly makes this Commando Combat stand out is the extensive list of high-quality upgrades performed during the seller's ownership. Carbs rebuilt with stay-up floats, new gaskets and O-rings. Fresh engine oil, filter, and gearbox oil. Andover primary belt drive conversion, major reliability upgrade. Stainless dual-sided gearbox mount adjuster. Colorado Norton Works breather kit, improves crankcase ventilation. Eurojam Dave Taylor, style head steady, reduces vibration and improves handling. Brand new charging system with new rotor and stator. Barnett clutch pack, easier pull, stronger operation. Motobat AGM battery. New Avon Road Rider tires with under 20 miles. Fresh front brake shoes, rear included. Don Pender's single rear axle conversion, replaces problematic factory stub axle. Boyer electronic ignition. New ignition barrel and key. New spark plugs. New chain. These upgrades represent a massive investment in reliability, safety, and long-term durability. The Andover belt drive, C&W breather, Boyer ignition, and head steady alone turn this machine into a far more dependable Commando than stock models. The motorcycle comes with a large collection of spare parts, including gaskets, rubber dampers, a second primary belt, the original chain drive, miscellaneous hardware, an EMGO relay, and turn signals ready to install. This spare package adds significant value to any vintage British bike. The bike carries a clean California title in the seller's name, with current registration placed on non-op and no back fees, a crucial detail for California buyers. It is titled as a 1971, a common occurrence with older imports or delayed registrations. The seller notes minor blemishes. A small ding on the front fender. A cracked license plate holder. Idle requires regular adjustment, normal for classic British twins. For collectors and enthusiasts, this 1972 Combat is an outstanding candidate, rebuilt, upgraded, running prior to storage, and packed with high-end components. The 1972 Norton Commando Combat, $8,500, Santa Barbara, California. A rebuilt numbers-matching British superbike with premium upgrades and classic combat performance. The 1972 Honda CB350, listed for $3,000 in Chula Vista, California, is a beautiful example of Honda's legendary small displacement twin, an iconic motorcycle that helped define an entire generation of riders. With only 12,000 miles and a clean, mostly original presentation, this CB350 is a reliable classic ready for its next owner to enjoy on the road or preserve as part of a vintage collection. The CB350 became one of Honda's best-selling motorcycles for good reason. Lightweight, smooth, and incredibly dependable, it delivered the perfect balance between everyday practicality and spirited performance. Even today, more than 50 years later, the CB350 remains one of the most admired and approachable vintage motorcycles on the market. Its size, power delivery, and versatility make it equally suitable for newer riders and seasoned enthusiasts looking for a true old-school experience. This particular 1972 model stands out immediately thanks to its silver tank, chrome side covers, and period-correct black accents, all of which give it a clean, classic appearance that aligns beautifully with Honda's early 70s styling. The photo shows a bike that has retained much of its original charm: chrome fenders, spoked wheels, factory-style exhaust, original gauge cluster, and the unmistakable CB350 silhouette. At 12,000 miles, this motorcycle appears to have lived a gentle life. Many CB350s of the era accumulated far higher mileage, so a survivor with miles this low suggests careful ownership and long-term preservation. Engines in these bikes are famously robust, and with proper maintenance, they often exceed 40,000 to 50,000 miles. This one still has plenty of life ahead of it. The seller's description is brief, mentioning 1972 CB350/1975 CB350, but the bike in the photo clearly reflects the styling of the earlier 1972 model, including the classic drum front brake, chrome tank panels, and earlier generation frame and side cover design. Regardless of the small listing confusion, the motorcycle being offered is unmistakably a CB350 twin, and its condition is what captures attention. The motorcycle features a manual transmission, true to its original configuration. Shifting through the gears on a CB350 is a tactile, satisfying experience. Smooth clutch engagement, clean gear transitions, and a gentle but lively parallel twin pulse that gives the bike its memorable character. The CB350's 325 cubic centimeters engine delivers surprisingly strong mid-range power, making it a joy to ride through city streets or along winding back roads. From the picture, the bike appears to be in excellent condition. The chrome is bright, the tank looks clean and well preserved, and the engine cases show the light patina typical of a well-kept vintage machine. The exhaust pipes look straight and free of corrosion, a major plus for any CB350 since finding original pipes in good condition is increasingly rare. Even the seat appears correct for the era, retaining the classic Honda stitching pattern and contour. Vintage Hondas like this one are particularly popular among collectors, restorers, and riders seeking a blend of simplicity and reliability. The CB350 is lightweight, easy to start, easy to maintain, and supported by a huge aftermarket of parts. Whether you plan to keep it as a stock survivor, turn it into a cafe racer, or simply enjoy it as a weekend cruiser, the platform is versatile and rewarding. Located in Chula Vista, California, this motorcycle is in an ideal environment for vintage riding. Southern California's mild climate, winding canyon roads, and scenic coastal routes make it the perfect place to own and enjoy a classic Honda. Bikes like the CB350 thrive in warm weather and open roads, where the rider can appreciate the smooth twin-cylinder rhythm and timeless mechanical feel. At $3,000, the asking price is very attractive for a running, mostly original CB350 with low mileage. Prices for vintage Hondas have been steadily climbing, and clean CB350s often sell for significantly more depending on condition and originality. This listing offers strong value, especially if the bike runs and rides as good as it looks. The CB350 isn't just a motorcycle, it's a piece of motorcycling history, representing the era when Honda transformed the global motorcycle market with reliability, accessibility, and elegant engineering. It's a bike that still turns heads today and delivers the kind of riding experience modern machines can't replicate. The 1972 Honda CB350, $3,000, Chula Vista, California. Lightweight, reliable, vintage to the core. A classic Honda twin with originality, soul, and miles of life left to ride. 1981 Suzuki GS850. Listed for $700 in Los Angeles, California, is a vintage Japanese classic with strong cafe racer potential and an affordable entry point for anyone wanting to bring an old-school GS back to life. With 27,897 miles, 2 owners, and a handful of completed repairs, this GS850 is a solid project bike for enthusiasts who want to restore, customize, or simply preserve one of Suzuki's most respected 1980s standards. The GS850 is part of Suzuki's legendary GS Series 4-cylinder lineup, widely praised for durability, smooth handling, and long-distance comfort. Often called one of the most reliable engines of the era, the 850 cubic centimeters air-cooled inline-4 has earned a reputation for running strong even after decades of use, provided it receives the basic maintenance it deserves. Many GS850s from this era are still on the road today, making them a favorite among budget-minded riders and vintage cafe racer builders. This particular example has been styled in a cafe racer direction, giving it a more aggressive and minimalist look compared to its original touring configuration. Cafe builds based on GS bikes are increasingly popular because the platform offers a strong, smooth engine, a sturdy frame, and excellent aftermarket support. Even in its current non-running condition, this bike represents a promising foundation for anyone wanting a classic custom project. The seller is open about the bike's condition. It is not currently rideable, but only needs a few straightforward repairs to get back on the road. At this price point, transparency is a huge advantage, and the listed issues are typical for a vintage Japanese motorcycle that has been sitting. The known items requiring attention include: tires need replacement, common for older bikes and inexpensive to address. Spark plugs need replacement, a quick and low-cost fix that often helps bring an older inline-4 back to life. Paint damage caused by a gas leak in the tank, cosmetic, and easily repaired when repainting or refinishing during a cafe racer build. Carburetors have been rebuilt. This is a major plus, as carb work is usually the biggest hurdle in reviving an older GS. Kickstand has been repaired, ensuring stability when parked. Despite its current non-running status, the fact that the carburetors have already been rebuilt is valuable. On a GS850, sinking and cleaning forecarbs can be time-consuming and costly. Having that step already done significantly reduces the amount of work required to revive the engine. The seller notes that the motorcycle comes with a title on hand, which is especially important in California, where paperwork issues often cause more complications than mechanical ones. A clean title ensures a smooth transfer, making this a practical project for hobbyists and new builders alike. The bike also comes with a Haynes manual, a crucial resource for DIY mechanics. The GS series is known for being very friendly to home mechanics, and having a service manual means the new owner can handle much of the work without expensive shop labor. Aesthetically, the bike has a black exterior, a classic cafe racer color choice that complements the GS's long fuel tank and flat seat line. Even with paint damage on the tank, the overall look remains clean and workable. For someone planning a full repaint, tank repair becomes a natural part of the build process. At 27,897 miles, the engine has seen typical use for a machine of this age, but is far from worn out. GS engines commonly surpass 60,000 to 80,000 miles with proper maintenance. With fresh plugs, new tires, fuel system cleanup, and a bit of tuning, this GS850 should have plenty of life left in it. Located in Los Angeles, California, this motorcycle sits in a region filled with riders, builders, and abundant resources for vintage Japanese bikes. LA is one of the best places in the country to restore or customize a classic GS. Parts are easy to find, local mechanics know the platform well, and the climate preserves metal far better than humid or rust-prone regions. At $700, this GS850 is an excellent value. Even as a project, it offers significantly more motorcycle for the money than many other vintage platforms. Cafe racer builders, first-time restorers, and Suzuki fans will all recognize the potential in this bike. Its affordability, transparency, available title, and partial repair work make it far more approachable than most vintage project listings. Whether you want to restore it to original GS850 touring form, finish the cafe racer vision, or build a custom hybrid street bike, this Suzuki offers a strong mechanical base and endless creative possibilities. The 1981 Suzuki GS850, $700, Los Angeles, California. A classic Japanese four-cylinder with honest needs, big potential, and a price that's hard to beat.